So this is Baruch Flashman here with the Tikkun Elevator Kolas. We are learning Shar Kavanos on Rosh Hashana. We're using the Tivah Kavanos to re-explain and bring us some deeper insights into what's playing over here. And I want to invite you to learn along with me, as I think these are important ideas. This Elul is a time of the expectation of din, so therefore it's a time of tshuva, trying to get back, remembering the people who have come before you, and so on and so forth. Here we go, and it says, this is Drush base, and it says, Yavoyer bo lama him shnei yamim de Rosh Hashana. So we want to hear about why the 2 days of Rosh Hashana. So this is really Mekusher ima Omer Bezel Shono. So it really tied to what we've been saying, and what we've been saying about there's 2 different times of the year, 2 different natures of the year. That there's a 6 months of winter and 6 months of summer. There's a male part of the year, female part of the year. I'm not sure exactly what he means, so let's go on. Bachshin is Bayer Inyan Zesa. Not if we explain this, so you're going to tell us what it was. The Bayer Inyan Shnei Yamid the Rosh Hashanah. We're going to come and talk about 2 different days of Rosh Hashanah. Ma Inyanim, what's the difference? What's they're about? Ki Harem Nogim Ashnei Shyamin the Rosh Hashanah, because our custom is to make 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, Gam Ata Be'eretz Yisrael, even now in Eretz Yisrael. Masha Ein came b'shachar Yomim Tovim, which are not the case by the other Yomim Tovim. Now here we're talking, these are the words of the ARI HaKodesh. And we're going to read a little bit in the ARI. I think we got a couple of pages, and then we'll try to do that. Come back to the Tivah Kavanos, read it that way, and then with God's help. But this could be understand it's good in terms of what we've been talking about. So there are 2 different aspects of Zer Anpin. Behem chitzonius or penimius. Now this is really important, and we're talking about sort of like the goof type of idea. In other words, that he has an inside and an outside. And corresponding to the penimius of Zer Anpin and the chitzonius, that's why we have 2 days. Now, obviously, it needs more to be understood. So he's by Inyan who b'mashav da'atichus of this Inyan in terms of what I told you, but the chakras the whole. What I tell you over there, he said you could call it the tefillah she'anim ispalim bisman hagalos v'hahurban. All of the tefillahs that we pray at this time, the time of the galos, the time of the hurban. He says ein bechem koach, they don't have any power. Rak la'alos b'chinet penimios ha'olam bilvad. Now, this is in another different place. If you have a chitzonius of the world, and you have of all, let's just take our world, and you have a panemius of the world. So we say everything is really, the panemius is really the power here. But the power part, this is what he says, has the ability to be able to move upwards. But the structure itself, the body itself, doesn't move. Now he explains that in another place. He says that as you're moving from one part to the next, you're moving from Asiya to Yetzirah. The general rule would be the penemius of Yetzirah. Say it again. The penemius of Asiya would then move up on top of the chitzonius of Yetzirah. So maybe we'll see that a little bit more as he goes through that, and then it becomes the chitzonius of Yetzirah, and then what used to be the chitzonius of Yetzirah now becomes its penemius because it has a chitzonius that came from Asiya. I have to think through this. This is a little bit tricky, but let's go on. So he says, they can only elevate the penemius. Just like I had said. Zeb one with the neck, the tzilus, until you keep putting the penemius on top of the chitzonius, and he keeps making the chitzonius into penemius, and this is the way, he says, this is the way that our prayers, our Torah moves up. So this is really the power of our souls. The soul has the ability to move up. This is a thing like, I was thinking a comparison. We have Shabbos, which is an absolute fantastic experience. And this is our penemius. We're still standing in the world. So that is in the same world, except that our penemius is able to move up to much higher levels, a level of bina and so on and so forth. But our chitzonius, us, still here. Which are the worlds themselves. So we're talking about Sia going upwards to Yitzira, and Yitzira the Bria, Bria to Tzilus. Then the angels. They can't go up. I include the angels here. So a lot of deep stuff here. The realm we've seen in other places. It refers to the Malachim, to Malach. Ratzon Lomar, what he's trying to say, Ki HaMalachim Tzoakim, they're crying. The Sivas Hiyosim Chutza, because they have to remain outside. They don't come from, they're not part of the Benimiu. Nishmas B'nei Adam, like for example, our Neshamas. And he says like that, V'hinei, let me get this straightened up here. So V'hinei Kodem Al-Churban, before the destruction of the temple, we had the power with our tefillah. We could do both. At that time, we could bring up both the chitzonius and the penimius and the chitzonius. Obviously, the chitzonius we never could. We were able to bring that up as well. Biyom echad bilvad. And at that time, according to this, is the words of the ARI Kodesh. At the time that we were able to do that, you only had one day of Rosh Hashana. Zulasi Kashadoh Boha Adim, that's besides the fact that we have to wait for the Adim. This is the explanation in the Mishnah. So it had to be a certain time when the Adim would come. But then after the Churban, and we'll probably hear the Tiv get into that a little bit better for us. But after the destruction of the temple, it has to be like this. La'aso shnei yamim shal Rosh Hashana, to make 2 different days of Rosh Hashana. U'kanizke b'divrei Rashbi b'sefer azoer or b'sefer tikunim. So the Rashbi talks about this, and we'll see if there's more to be said about that. So on the first day of Rosh Hashana, we have the penimios, which are the neshamas that have an ability to be able to go up. And he says on the second day, even the chitzonius goes up. But you need 2 days. It used to be able to be done 1, he said. So a lot to be able to be seen about this. This is the reason why they say in the Zohar, the Yom HaRishon Hu Din Kosher, the first day is really severe din. The second day, Hu Din Rafi, it's a weaker din. What's the reason? Who? So this is what he said. Read the words again. Because of the first day, Adayin still lo nisbasmo halomos. The coming into the first day, he says alomos, all the worlds are not sweetened. Or nisbasmo means perfumed or made to. I'm not sure exactly how to explain that, but nisbad baisim means to be, it's like a summon. It's like spiced, but it means to say in a sweet way. But they're not able to go up as a result of that, to be able to be incorporated one with the other. We're talking about what? Benimius and Gitzonius. I'm in the Benimius Levado. So he said, but it's not like, there's no combination here. Only the Benimius by itself can go up. Hua Olav Nichlo Kanizkar. That is that element that goes up and is, as we mentioned. So therefore we have to say that this is a hard din. That's the reason why. Now it has to be explored, and we'll try to get into it. Well, not try, but we'll see what the Tev says. But let me read his words again. Hu ha'olav v'nichlo kanizkar. It's only the. Let me read back to Yudchas. Amnam benimius levado hu ha'olav v'nichlo kanizkar. So it's only the benimius that goes up. But what I was looking at is this word v'nichlo, and becomes incorporated. The basic gist of what I got, I'm not sure what he needs to say about nichlo, but we'll see how that works. So he says, so therefore, since you can't incorporate the 2 of them together, because that's what the sweetening of the din means. Okay, so let's go on. But on the second day, that you already have this incorporation of the penimius is already there. Now, I don't know what he means. I just keep asking the question, Nichlal, where's it being Nichlal into what? Into the higher world or what? So I don't know yet. So therefore we see then on the second day that you actually also have the power of the Chilomas Shehem Bechidas Chitzonis, the Chitzonis also. Olam, they go up. Nechlala B'Yom HaSheni Gam Kain, and they also are incorporated. Again, this word Nechlalim on the second day. Afkam Az, and then also we see Einam Olim V'Nechlalim Ma'atzman, they don't go up and be incorporated by themselves. But they only are able to be incorporated. Again, what's incorporated into what? He says only through the power of the panemios, which is already nichlal. Since the olomos themselves, that is the physicality, go up as well. So therefore, since they're both there, it's like a sweetened din. He says it's a weaker din. So all of this is very mysterious. So let's read the end of it. Here it comes. So he says, so this for this reason, on the first day, also goes up the Benemios. So therefore again, the reason why on the first day only the Benemios goes up, it's to be there for the Chitzonius. So that you need the Panemius first in order to bring strength onto the second day, La'alos Gama Chitzonius. Which wouldn't be the same thing if it was the opposite. Because in the first day, it's impossible for the Chitzonis to go up. So where we're really heading in this limud now is that after this piece on the 2 days of Rosh Hashana, we're going to start learning the Nesira. The Nesira is the big event on Rosh Hashana. Not well known because it's a secret. It's the secrets of Rosh Hashana. Because all the aspects of the Sira that take place on the first day Be'inyan Panemios in regards to Panemios. And so we say this word Zechrona L'chaim B'Birchos Avos. Choseres the Hios B'Yom Sheni, so it comes back on the second day as well. The Hios B'Bechinas Chitzonis to be like the Bechin of the Chitzonios. And that's the reason why they're 2 days. Now, I didn't really understand the last part. Let me just read it one more time, and that'll be it. And we'll get to the Tiv, and he's going to help us out. He says, "V'kibiyom rishon, efsher el chitzonius la'alos." V'kol bechinas hanesira, all what we're going to see, which is the removal. What's the nesira? The nesira is the fact that Zer Anpin and his nook are attached along their back sides. So the detachment of the nukva that takes place on the first day of Rosh Hashana and the second day of Rosh Hashana. This is the day by the moment by moment, or we'll see how it goes. Removal of the nukva around the back of Zer Anpin, bringing her around to the front. So we go, call Bechinas Anesira Hana'asas B'Yom Rishon, every part of that Nesira which takes place on the first day, Be'inyan the Panemios, in regards to Panemios. V'Zachrena the Chaim B'Brachos Birchos Avos, that we see that this takes place in a particular place, which I haven't really looked at, as very typical of me. I haven't really looked at the Siddur on that is the Rishash Siddur on Rosh Hashanah, not yet. He said, "B'Zachrena the Chaim B'Birchos Avos." In that place, apparently Zachrena the Chaim, there's a lot that Nesira takes place. Because there's the Hios B'Yom Shenis. It comes back, and it's there on the second day. The Hios B'Bechinas Chitzonius. So that's got to be in the Chitzonius. The Chaim Aim Shnei Yomim. I didn't really understand that, but I'm not gonna get worried about that because we have the Tivah Kavanos, which we're going to learn tomorrow. And he's going to bring it out, the whole thing, really clearly. Thank you for spending the time to listen to this share. This is Baruch Fleischman.